All right, I just got back from listening to this pretty short EP from an artist that I've never heard of before. Ignorance EP by Vehemence. Pretty sure that is how you say his name. But yeah, this is a Minatory dubstep EP, and if you don't know what Minatory dubstep is, it's a very specific, I would say, niche genre of dubstep and bass music in general. It's usually pretty distorted. It's very noisy, I would say. It's like the noise music of dubstep, I would call it. It reminds me of deathstep a lot, but if the heaviness was cranked up to an 11, dubstep and deathstep is already super heavy. But overall, I was intrigued to check out this EP because I've been trying to get into Minatory dubstep because it's just like the only subgenre of dubstep where it's actually been difficult for me to enjoy. There have been some tracks in the past that I've enjoyed by artists like Demori, for example, but overall, it's just been pretty hit or miss as a genre for me. And if you want to try and listen to some more Minatory dubstep, there's amazing YouTube channels you can find, such as Hydraulic Damnation, that provides a lot of that type of incredibly heavy, noisy underground dubstep and bass music if you would like that. And also, they promoted one of the tracks from the EP as well, so that's pretty cool. But overall, I heard about this EP and artist through a noise artist I've been following for a couple years now named Noiseatrix, who is apparently, this is a friend of his, and he was promoting it on his Discord server to be like, hey, check out this Minatory EP from my friend, and I was intrigued. I always love listening to new music, and I always love discovering new artists, so I decided to give this a try, and overall, I'd say it's pretty decent. So I'm just going to review this track by track. We're going to start with the very first track, Alien Experiments. So overall, they definitely have a lot of sampling about like the supernatural. There's some news coverage about like the government and UFOs. And overall, the storytelling for this opening track, and I would say throughout the rest of this EP, is done really well. It's a very haunting experience. There's definitely a huge horror aspect to it. I feel like it could easily be the soundtrack to a horror flick. And the ambience in this track, as well as all the others, is done really well. I feel like Vehemence could easily... and also, I don't know, this is the only stuff I've heard from this artist, so I don't know if he's done this already, but I feel like he would be really good at making just ambient or dark ambient pieces in general, or maybe even try anything related to hauntology or something. I think it would be really cool because he's good at nailing the horror stuff and the very dark, disturbing stuff throughout this EP, and this track did that really well. And when the first drop came, there was a lot of distortion. I mean, of course it's Minatory, but it was really good. It didn't feel overbearing or anything. It felt like enough distortion was placed where it needed to be placed, and I also felt like I was hearing some deep growls in the background as well. I love the percussion. The percussion seemed very sporadic, like it just wasn't your usual kick, snare pattern. There was a lot of variety with how the percussion was used throughout the track, and I think it made it really refreshing. This is actually my favorite track off this EP. I added it to my playlist, and yeah, it's just done really well. Next track we have Ignorance, the title track. So these are probably some of the most disturbing samples. Like, I'm pretty sure this is real news coverage and real commentary from whoever the heck is talking, but overall, definitely some of the most disturbing samples, and I think it really works well in the horror aspect of this EP. There's also some great distortion in this one as well, and the percussion patterns are done really good as well, so yeah, I really enjoyed that. And next off, the last two tracks, their titles are in Russian. So the third track, which is translated to My Pain is Strength, has a cool intro, but when the drop comes, I feel like the percussion is a bit overbearing. To me, it sounds like there's a lot of bass on that kick, and I don't know if it's the percussion that's bad or maybe there's too much sidechain, but I feel like something kind of took the essence. There's something in the production that I felt like kind of took the essence out of this track specifically for me. So that kind of makes it my least favorite track in the end. Next up, actually, I want to talk about something else. The second drop kind of redeems this because there's this nice like drone melody, or maybe it sounds like a choir that's happening in the background of the second drop, and I thought it was really cool. So yeah, overall it's my least favorite, but that drone stuff was really cool. And finally, the last track, the title, which translates to Narcissism, has another cool sample that I feel like blends well with the title. And this is probably the noisiest track. Like, it feels like a lot of white noise is just grating in my ears, and it's good. I think it's very solid, and I feel like the percussion as well is a bit overbearing this one, but it's not as much. There's a bit more variety happening, like in the first track. But overall, it's pretty all right. But those were my thoughts. Like, honestly, for Minatory, like, I enjoyed this way more than I expected. Sure, I had some like iffy complaints about it, but I would definitely come back to the first track for sure. I actually really liked that one, and I'm excited to check out what Vehemence does next. Like, I'm open to hearing more Minatory or whatever he decides to make in the future. So yeah, let me know what you thought of the CP down in the comments. I will link to it for SoundCloud, and follow Vehemence on SoundCloud as well, and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.